Find out the truth about apple cider vinegar. Hello and welcome to the Ask Dr. Pickel show, where today we are going to talk about apple cider vinegar and how it affects your health. Many myths out there about apple cider vinegar, many things taught and said, and many people that use apple cider vinegar and get great results. I've had many patients who say, hey, yeah, I drink my apple cider vinegar before bed every night, and next morning I wake up and I don't have joint pain, or I drink my apple cider vinegar and my acid reflux went away. So how does this work? What does this stuff really do? Is it something very mysterious, or is there some science behind it? All right, so it works because of this ingredient called acetic acid. And acetic acid, basically, if you take apples, you add some bacteria, you add some yeast, it ferments, and then it makes basically alcohol and then turns into sugar. I mean, not sugar, excuse me, acid with the fermentation process. And then we get this acid that's about a 2.5 on the acidity scale, which is pretty good. And actually, it's about the pH of the acid in our stomach called hydrochloric acid, which we need to digest and break down our foods. And this is why it helps a lot of people who have GERD or heartburn or indigestion, or these acid reflux or stomach issues. Because what happens is when you, let's put it this way, if your stomach's not making enough acid, because a lot of times doctors or people will think, oh, I've got too much acid in my stomach, that's why I'm getting this. Well, it's because you're eating, the food's going to your stomach, and that food is fermenting or rotting, I hate to say. And when food ferments or rots, it actually makes gases and it makes acids, these organic type acids. And these are the ones that cause heartburn. So it's because you're not making enough good acid that you actually have this bad acid that's creating these issues. So by drinking the acetic acid, you're helping to break down your food so you don't get this fermentation process and these other symptoms that go along with it. All right. So, and then also we know that as we get older, we can have a decrease in our ability to make the good acid in our stomach. Now, is that always true? This is kind of just a general statistic. I would say if you're exercising, if you are eating good, not as much of a big deal. And I'll explain why after that too, or otherwise everybody would have this problem. So obviously you can't just globalize that. And again, what do we need acid for anyway? Well, one of the most important things is it breaks down our food. We have to digest our foods in order to absorb them, especially when it comes to proteins, minerals, fats. So we need this acid. Now, what happens is when our stomach makes acid, or if we drink apple cider vinegar, that starts this whole process of digestion. Actually, it starts as soon as we think about food, but this is one of the major steps. So when our stomach makes acid, that triggers our pancreas to release digestive enzyme. So that continues the digestive process, especially into our small intestine. And then also it triggers our gallbladder to contract to release bile, and that helps to break down fats, along with a digestive enzyme called lipase. So pretty important that this whole progression is working, but a key juncture in there is the acidity of the stomach. So we need to make sure that that is working there. All right. So overall, our body pH is about a 7.4. That's in most healthy people. And the goal is that we found out, with health, we like to be a little more on the alkaline side. The range for pH is 0 to 14. We're a little on the alkaline side. And the thing is if we're trying to be alkaline, yeah, sometimes we're more successful than others, and there's reasons for that. When we do apple cider vinegar, we've got to think, well, wait a second, this is an acid, and you're saying you want my body to be more pH. Yeah. So acetic acid or apple cider vinegar actually has an alkalizing effect on the body. How does it do that? Well, number one, as it breaks down things, the acid breaks down things, but it breaks down these minerals and even some of the minerals that are in apple cider vinegar. And then so you get this influx of minerals into the system, and that will lower your pH. So now that's opposed to other foods that are acidic that have none of this effect, such as sugars and meats and refined carbs, processed foods. These are acidic foods, but also make you more acidic and decrease your health. So, and then also another thing that can do that is stress. Stress increases cortisol. Cortisol, of course, makes you more acidic, which again has all kinds of issues with it too. In fact, increased body acidity. Actually, if you Google the term acidosis and look at all the symptoms under that, you're going to find actually a longer list than I've written here. You can write symptoms of acidosis. So higher blood pressure, constipation, weakness, inflammation, irregular heartbeat, blood sugar issues, neurological symptoms. Yeah, these can all be attributed to you having more an acidic body. Actually, another thing that I didn't put on here is infectious agents, bacteria, funguses like candida, even parasites love that acidic environment, that inflammatory state. They don't like the alkaline side. So again, pretty important to go towards that alkaline side. So what is pH? What does it mean? It's potential hydrogen. So we need hydrogen ions in our body, and these hydrogen ions are important in how cells work and how we balance things in the body. So pretty important. And that regulation of those hydrogen ions, well, actually the regulation of our pH globally in our body is mainly done by our kidneys and our lungs. A lot of people don't realize that they play the biggest part. So the thing about acetic acid or apple cider vinegar, another advantage that it has is it has a low load on the kidneys, meaning it doesn't stress out your kidneys. When you eat a lot of these other foods, processed foods, meats, things like that, yeah, they produce things that stress out your kidneys. And again, the kidneys are like, I'm managing pH, don't stress me out. And then that can result in a more acidic environment. So, but what are other foods that can help that are higher in these hydrogen ions that are also less load on the kidneys? These are your fruits, your veggies, your raw foods, all these things that are easy to digest. In fact, when they're raw, they have their own digestive enzymes that helps break them down. And then, of course, they're loaded with nutrients that can really, especially minerals, that can lower and help our pH. So how can we use this apple cider vinegar to help promote this more alkaline effect, this positive effect on the body? And that's just drinking it regularly, if you like. I mean, drinking it, number one, to help you digest your foods if you're having those conditions. I mean, number one, if you have an ulcer, yeah, you drink some apple cider vinegar, it's probably going to burn. So I would say work on getting that healed first. And there's other ways to deal with that we'll talk about in a different video. But definitely, and it, too, if this burns your throat, you maybe not be diluting enough, or so do be cautious. And again, don't start anything without talking to your doctor. But at the same time, the people who do drink this, they tend to notice a great result, especially when they do it daily. Some people do it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. Some people do it right before they eat, during the meal, after the meal. You can vary it depending on what makes you feel best. Now, some people just take their ACV, mix it with little water, shoot it down. Hey, that's fine. Some people can't tolerate that. And especially if you're doing it multiple times per day, hey, let's try to make it taste a little better here. So sometimes mixing the 2 teaspoons of ACV in with some water first. I would say mixing it with at least a couple of ounces of water. Some people even go up to like 4 ounces of water because they enjoy this drink. They'll mix it with some lemon juice, about a teaspoon. They'll mix it with sometimes even some cranberry concentrate, about a teaspoon. And when you put that all in the water, sip it down. Now, when you sip it down, use a straw with this stuff, because anything acid, and this is why you don't want to do straight apple cider vinegar either and swish it around in your mouth. It takes off the enamel in your teeth. So it's not good for dental issues. So when you sip it with a straw, you go past the teeth. So definitely using that straw can be very important with it, or making sure if you shoot it down, you get it to the back of your throat. All right. So definitely apple cider vinegar, great thumbs up, can help with many health issues, I feel. And again, doesn't really deal with the cause of the issues as much, but it helps with some of the effects and the day to day. And if you're already pretty healthy, hey, you'll get, I think, quick and easy benefits from this. All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful day. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video.